The ambulance's sirens sounded loudly, tears through the silence of the night. The once quiet streets suddenly became chaotic. Ambulance flashing lights. Dim light reflected off the road surface illuminates hidden corners. Darkness and silence seemed to hide everything. The car braked hard at the entrance of the hospital. The screeching of tires seemed to tear the air. Let everything. It's as if they're all in a never-ending madness. Xiang Yang rushed out of the car. His hands tightly hugged the fragile girl in his arms. It's like holding a precious gift that he has treasured for a long time. The girl in her arms had barely a bit of life. Pale skin. The body is weak, as if it can no longer bear it. His sweat soaked his back and the hem of his clothes. He felt unbearable pain. You keep looking around. Hopefully someone can be found who can save him. He couldn't wait. Please save him. He couldn't wait. You scream loudly. His voice choked with despair. It was as if a part of his soul was about to break. The nurses arrived on stretchers. But when seeing the girl in his arms, it suddenly stopped. His gaze scanned the past, with hesitation and suspicion. Hey, what's wrong with this girl? A nurse spoke. Xiang Yang was suspicious in his tone. Xiang Yang trembled. The voice was weak but firm. There was barely enough strength to speak. And she's not a child. She is my wife. The space around them suddenly fell silent. Everyone's eyes were on Xiang Yang, full of surprise and doubt. He couldn't seem to believe what he had just heard. One of the nurses took a few steps back abruptly. Hands trembled slightly. What do you say? Mr. Xiang Yang was exhausted. The voice is hoarse and eager. It's too much to give birth. This sentence is like a heavy stone falling. The silence was broken. Make the space thicker. The silence went on and on. Long around all the sounds. It all seems clearer than ever. Sharp. Everyone is standing there. Can't believe what you're seeing. You have to stay here. A nurse said. Her voice was cold, as if it were an undeniable decision. We'll take him to the emergency room. But you need to explain right away. Xiang Yang stood, not moving. Feel the cold gaze of the people around you. Eyes of scrutiny and accusation. In his head, those whispers are like knives. It stung his heart. What did he do to that little girl? It's so scary. What kind of person is he? These whispers were like rubbing salt on his wounds. Meditate, scream. Trying to explain things is not what they think. But will they believe him? Will they be white to the sun? He was not holding a child in his arms. It's the woman he loves. The woman who struggled with her body for a long time. Xiang Yang lowered his head. Clench your hands. Try to stay calm. Her voice went weak. It's like a gentle pleading. Please save her first. I'll explain that later. The nurses rushed the girl to the emergency room. Only Xiang Yang was left, silently standing in the cold hallway. The door closed, separated him from the only person he wanted to protect. A whisper sounded behind him, like a knife piercing his heart. Look at that girl. How could she? Was it ever an abuser? These whispers made Xiang Yang even more frustrated. He felt heavy in his legs. Dyspnea. But at this moment, he didn't care about the whispers anymore. And critical gaze. All he thought about was Blue. He was lying on the other side of the door, on the verge of life and death. 2 years ago, his life revolved around a small attic. Sunlight was streaming in through the old windows. Illuminates the colorful paintings. That's Xiang Yang's own world. Quiet and lonely. Safe. He likes the silence too much. Even the sound of footsteps on the stairs made him frown. He told himself, loneliness was his choice. But deep down, he knew it was just a shell, used to hide wounds that he didn't want anyone to touch. Then one day, everything has changed. That art exhibition. It's no different from other activities that Xiang Yang has participated in. Crowds. It's noisy, full of compliments that he didn't care too much about. Xiang Yang stood in the corner of the room, holding a glass of wine in his hand but not drinking it. His eyes were blankly fixed on the people coming and going. His paintings hang far away, almost engulfed by the crowd. Just when Xiang Yang decided to leave quietly, A strange picture caught his attention. In the midst of a bustling crowd, a petite girl, standing quietly in front of one of his largest paintings. He's not like the other guests. Unlike those who pass by and leave in a hurry, he was standing there, focused and silent, as if everything around it didn't exist. Long black hair fell gently over her shoulders. The small figure made Xiangyang feel that he was just a child. But there was a deep sadness in his eyes, a maturity that is not commensurate with his age. Xiangyang approached. My heart was full of curiosity. He's been looking at the painting for a long time. What caught his attention? Hey, do you like this picture? Xiangyang asked, his tone half joking and half serious, trying to start a conversation. He turned. A faint smile curled up at the corners of his mouth, softly replied that it wasn't me. I'm not a child. His calm voice surprised Xiangyang. He paused. Look at him carefully. Even though he is small. But there's something very different. I mean, you look like a child, Xiangyang said. He looked at him. The eyes were still fixed on the painting, then gently replied that I was not a child. The fortune rod is in Blue's hand. It was as if the moment lasted forever. It's that clear red line. Not only is it a sign that a miracle is about to happen, it was a time full of emotion and challenge. The beginning of a new journey. Lan Zhan was there. His eyes were full of confusion and worry. But at the same time, it is full of happiness. Because he has. A family's dream is about to come true. He looked at Xiangyang. His eyes searched for his certainty. It's as if all it takes is a word of confirmation. A promise can put him at ease. You sit silently. His body froze at that moment. He didn't know what to say. I don't know how I feel. The red line shocked him. It's not because he didn't anticipate it, but because he came too suddenly. Countless thoughts flooded into his mind. He looked into Blue eyes. I saw anticipation, worry, and hope. He was waiting for him to answer. But his heart was beating wildly, afraid of not being able to do it for him. Do everything necessary for the child in his womb. How could he say a word? Yinlan's voice was a little choked. Seems to want to say something. But I can't say it. He handed her the pregnancy test paper. Hands trembled. Xiangyang sighed softly. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. Calm yourself down. He knows. Now is not the time to shirk responsibility. Now is the time for you to stand firm and face reality, no matter how difficult it is for him. Don't worry, Xiangyang said. His voice was hoarse but determined. One way or another, I'll be here. Blue looked at him. The gaze meets the sincere gaze of Xiangyang. A gentle smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. A smile of hope. Although they still have a long road ahead of them, it is full of challenges and difficulties. But at least they depend on each other. That's all that matters. Xiangyang stood up. Walk into the Blue and gently place your hand on his shoulder. He knew, despite what the outside world might be, it is never possible to understand them. But right now, in this warm little room, they found each other. That feeling, the feeling of being loved, being understood. Exactly what they've been looking for. Although there are many challenges ahead, but not to the sun. Life is not always an easy path. It's a journey that two people go through together. Share happy and difficult moments. He wouldn't leave Lan alone with anything again. You hold the wheel tightly. His eyes were fixed on the slippery and blurry road ahead. The rain doesn't seem to stop. Water droplets shattered on the windshield. Make everything around you blur. But at this moment, Xiangyang only knows one thing. He had to go to the hospital. He had to save the face and the child in his belly. Although his hands were shaking, even though his heart was beating with fear, but he couldn't stop. He needs him. He would never leave him alone to face this fear. Blue lay motionless in the back seat. Breathing is getting weaker and weaker. His lips pursed tightly. Bursts of pain continued to spread through his fragile body. But he didn't dare to cry out. Just a soft moan of pain. Xiangyang turned around. Look at him through the rearview mirror. His eyes were bloodshot, but still determined. Despite the fact that his body was so weak, but his eyes sparkled with determination. as if he was ready. Rise to any challenges that life may encounter. Blue, you have to hold on. I'll take you to a safe place. You said, his voice choked with worry. Each time it was like a word of encouragement. But his mind was in turmoil. He couldn't imagine if something had happened to Blue, their children. He knew that Lan's body was much weaker than the other women. But the love and firmness in his eyes kept him from backing down. Outside, the sky was still rumbling with thunder. A storm in the sun shining star. The road seems endless. But he never slowed down. His hands gripped the steering wheel tightly. Try to stay calm in the midst of the panic. Blue needs him. He wouldn't leave him alone with this fear. Eventually, the car stopped at the entrance of the hospital. Nin hurriedly carried Lien out of the car. The movements are gentle. But soon, his body was so weak in his arms. But he couldn't stop. He walked briskly into the hospital. Every step brought him closer to hope. Even though everything around him seems to be collapsing. The nurses realized Rant's condition after they realized it. Immediately rushed in. Xiangyang didn't say anything, just eagerly handed her over to them. Then he turned around and stood in the middle of the hallway. The gaze is always impossible. Removed from the figure of Lan being pushed into the emergency room. A feeling of cold despair enveloped Xiangyang, but he knew he couldn't stop. He has to be here. Must fight with him. For him, for the child in his womb. When doctors and nurses are busy, Min sat quietly on a chair outside. Clasp your hands. It feels like everything around me is fading away. At this point, he didn't know what to do. One can only pray that everything will be fine. He had doubted. Is your love strong enough to overcome everything? But now he realized. His love for Blue is untestable. It is this power. Let the two unite desperately. You stand up. Walk through the white hallway. The eye never leaves the door of the emergency room. He didn't know how much time had passed. But before it's certain that Blue and their kids are okay, he's not going anywhere. There was only one thought in his mind. Everything will be fine with you. Blue will be fine too. Blue didn't answer him. Just sighed weakly. Keep your hands on your stomach. Pale face. Full of pain. Xiangyang glanced at him quickly through the rearview mirror. A strong sense of panic swelled up in my heart. His heart was pounding. Every beat. All echo in the quiet space of the car. Fear swept over like a storm outside. Suffocate him. When the car is parked in front of the hospital, you're out of breath. He hurriedly opened the car door, picked up Lan and ran straight into the emergency room. Ignore the surprised stares and gossip around you. Please save him. Help her. Xiangyang screamed in despair. The voice was choked, as if fear could not be controlled. The nurses rushed over with carts. But when you see Blue... But I couldn't help but stop. Her petite and fragile appearance made them suspicious. Hey, what's wrong with this girl? A nurse spoke. The voice was full of doubt. We are not small children. Xiangyang screamed. Her eyes were red with worry. And she is my wife. She's going into labor. His words were like a bolt of lightning piercing the sky. Make the people around you suddenly turn their heads to look. Their eyes were full of doubt and judgment. What did he do to that girl? A voice whispered, full of discontent. He looked like a 12-year-old. The other replied. There was contempt in his eyes. Those whispers and skeptical glances. It's like a knife that pierces Ji Xiangyang's heart. But he didn't care. The only thing he cares about right now. It's Ran and their long-awaited child. Don't waste any more time. Go and save him. Xiangyang pleaded. His voice choked with fear and hope. Blue is shoved into the emergency room. Xiangyang stood silently in the corridor of the hospital. The door to the emergency room slammed shut. It was as if the last bond between him and him had been severed. He was standing there. It felt completely disoriented. There is no hope. Every breath becomes laborious. Like the heart. Squeezed. Despite the fact that the hospital was full of people. But Xiangyang only heard whispers. And critical gaze. Look at him. It's unbelievable. There must be something greasy in this. Xiangyang lowered his head. Clench your hands into fists. She wanted to scream loudly. Wanted to explain to everyone. Ran is not a child. She was a strong and precious woman. But at this moment, she could only stand there helplessly. Extreme anxiety and pain. Will they understand the truth hidden behind these whispers? Xiangyang stood at the door of the emergency room suspiciously. Keep your eyes on the bright light panel. Time seems to have stopped. Every second, every minute feels like a century has passed. He thought of Blue, thought of their children. What he had just said echoed in his mind. I will do everything I can to protect our children. And at that moment, Xiang Yangji felt his heart tense. Outside, the raindrops kept falling, rolling in his heart like a wave. Emergency room. Lon lay there. Sweat rolled down his pale cheeks. Doctors and nurses were rushing to work around him. His eyes were full of anxiety. Please save my child, Lon whispered. His lips were dry. Every word drained all his strength. A doctor leaned over him. Gently hold his hand. A low voice says you have to be calm. We'll do our best. But you need to breathe as evenly as possible. Nodding slightly. Eyes closed. For a moment, there was only one thought in my mind. Their children. The hope he cultivated with the people. Believe that love and their sacrifice will not be in vain. Outside, the people stood motionless. Keep your eyes on the door of the emergency room. Every minute passes. It was all indescribable torture for him. He was very worried. Be strong, Blue. You have to get through. Both I and my children need you. Tears flowed silently. But I didn't work hard, and I couldn't hold back. Don't want fear to make him in front of the people around him. Become weak. The rain is still falling. But he had only one thought in his heart. Hopefully Blue will survive the night. Time in the waiting room. It's like a lazy river. Every second passes. It's like an endless year for the other side. He sat there. Clasp your hands. Keep your eyes on the door of the emergency room. He couldn't remember how many times he prayed. But he knew. My heart has never been so heavy as it is now. Please take care of them. Xiang Yang said unconsciously in a low voice. The voice was choked. Finally, the door to the emergency room opened. A doctor walked out. His surgical gown was covered with beads of sweat. Mask pulled down. A faint, meaningful smile was revealed. Both mother and baby are safe, the doctor announced in a deep but clear voice. That moment, Xiang Yang felt that the whole world around him had disappeared. This sentence is like a miracle. Free him from the fear around him. Xiang Yang jumped up. Tears welled up in his eyes. But this time it wasn't because of worry. It's because of an ineffable relief. Learns that the person he loves most has overcome the danger. He felt a tremendous force. Xiang Yang no longer hesitated. Ran briskly into the ward. When you enter the door, I saw Lon lying on the hospital bed. His face was still pale, but breathing has returned to normal. The dim night light came on. Beads of sweat shone on her forehead. There is a small bassinet next to the bed. Shake gently. Xiang Yang looked inside. I saw a little baby girl falling asleep soundly. Her face was ruddy. Clasp your hands. It's like you're in this new world, having a calm dream. Lan Xiangyang called softly. The voice was a little choked. He didn't dare to speak out loud, for fear of ruining this magical moment. Lan slowly opened his eyes. A faint smile tugged at the corners of his lips, but with a loving look. It is full of happiness and tranquility. Xiangyang sat next to Blue. Pride and love in the heart. Blue eyes with tears. Excitedly whispered Xiangyang. We did it. His voice was faint, but it has surprising power, as if all the trials they had overcome. Now it can all be condensed into a meaningful moment. Xiangyang couldn't suppress his emotions. Kneel beside Blue. The hand gently grasped Blue's hand, feeling the fragility of the blue hand. But it's a warm breath. You're great, Blue. You're really great. He couldn't put it into words. Express gratitude for his perseverance. He could only silently thank him for being so determined, despite the fact that everything around him is difficult and unstable. Lan shook his head slightly. Tears rolled down her cheeks. But those were not tears of weakness. Rather, it was tears of emotion. Oh no, man. It's all your credit. Without you, I don't know if I'll make it through. Xiangyang didn't say another word. He bent down, kissed her hand gently, as if to say thank you, and cherish her wholeheartedly. When the mood subsides, Xiangyang stood up. Walk over to the little crib. My daughter was sleeping there. He bent down. Look at the child carefully. The heart was beating violently. It was as if the whole world was in the little hands of her daughter. You are our daughter, Yi Xiangyang said in a low voice. His voice choked with excitement. Thank you for coming to us. This sentence seemed to echo in the air, full of happiness and hope. Lan looked at Xiangyang with loving eyes, and looked at his daughter. His eyes flashed with incomparable tenderness. Min, I would like to name our child Andrew, Ida said. The voice is gentle but full of confidence. It is light to the sun. It's us after all these trials. The most precious thing to have. Xiangyang nodded. I couldn't stop the tears. Sunlight. What a beautiful name, he whispered. Then lean over and kiss the baby's forehead. Smell the pure breath of new life. The baby moved his little hand slightly. One moment clenched, the next opened. It seems to want to embrace this wide world. Xiangyang looked at his son. The eyes are full of love and protection. I promise you, Blue, I will do everything I can to protect you and your children. Nothing could hurt our family. His voice was firm, an oath of steel. Lan smiled slightly, eyes closed with exhaustion. But I felt more relaxed than ever. I believe you. Sonny, I've always believed in you, he whispered. At that moment, all worries seemed to disappear. Instead, love and stability. Outside the window, the rain has stopped. It was getting lighter. The first rays of sunlight shine through the canopy into the small room. It's like heralding a new beginning. Xiangyang sat next to the curtain. His hand was tightly gripping hers. The eyes are always fixed on the cradle of Amdo's sleep. At that moment, sensitive. I received a happiness that cannot be described in words. He knows. Their lives will never be the same again. They will face challenges. But with the company of Lian Haoan, you are ready to overcome any difficulties. He looked up. There is a lot of faith and hope in the eyes. They have weathered the storm. Now a new day. Bright sunshine is waiting for them. The story of Lian Haoan, more than just a love story that overcomes social prejudices. It is also a testimony to the power of faith, perseverance, and true love. When gossip in the hospital hallway becomes social media, after sensational headlines on the site, public opinion is divided into two opposing positions. Some people criticize Xiangyang as a pervert. Others are sympathetic. Call this a story that needs to be clarified and understood. The couple couldn't avoid criticism from society, but they didn't bow to skepticism. Instead, it is decided to face the facts. Lian Hanmin participated in a famous TV show. In the show, Lian boldly shared his story. She doesn't present herself as a mysterious figure or a strange character. Rather, one is the same as everyone else. A woman with a heart and a heart. She suffers from a rare disease. From the age of 10, the body stops growing. But the disease does not define him. Xiangyang stood beside Blue, affirmation of his strength and love, and said he was proud to call him his wife. Their story isn't just about love. It is also a reminder of tolerance, understanding, and humanity. After the interview, Blue's story spread quickly. Not only was the public gaze and rhetoric uncriticized, instead, it is full of sympathy. Their stories have changed the perspectives of many. Lian became a symbol of courage and hope. And the surface. It proves that Xiangyang has true love that no challenge can defeat. Over time, their small family became strong and unyielding. And love overcomes all. A living symbol. Even Hermione is no longer the subject of gossip. Smell a rat. They live in happiness and love. Their daughter, Andrew. I also grew up in a home full of laughter. A peaceful afternoon. They were a little family walking in the park. Anjuang, who is almost 3 years old, is playing on the green grass. And Xiangyanghan's face sat together holding hands. Lan asked Xiangyang, "Do you regret choosing me?" Xiangyang answered no without hesitation. "I've never regretted it. If there is an afterlife, I still want to love you. I want to walk this path with you." Xiangyang's answer deeply touched Lan. His eyes welled up with tears. But those were tears of happiness. They sat there and watched their daughter play. The tranquility of that moment was filled with love. The three of them stood there caressing each other. It's like a perfect family portrait, full of light and hope. Their story is not only about love. Lessons of faith, perseverance, and human strength are also told. No matter how many challenges you face, they all overcame the present. They are ready to face whatever lies ahead, for they are dependent on one another forever. Their stories continue to inspire many, remind us love, understanding, and tolerance are eternal values, always a shining light in everyone's life.